Hey gamers, Bad Luck Gamer here, and today I am going to do. I'm not doing a vlog. I know it probably looks like it, given that that's what I've been doing mostly on the channel every once in a while. But this is going to be something I wanted to add to the channel. Also, this is kind of to help me improve my commentary because, as you can tell, this is all about commentary. There's not a game to watch to distract away from me talking or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to add a little extra something to my channel just to help out. As you all may know, I'm actually a game enthusiast. I played a lot of different types of games. One of my favorite being board games for sure. I love collecting board games. I have a huge stack behind this curtain, and I really enjoy tabletop games because it brings people together. But what I wanted to talk about today is just a little something that I am passionate about as far as gaming is concerned, and that's role playing games and how to do a role playing game. And I'm gonna have several other videos on the matter. But right now, I kind of just wanted to talk about what is a tabletop RPG and what can you do to get involved with one if that's something you're interested in. And that in itself is hard because getting involved with it means you have friends who want to do it. Otherwise, you can always go to websites and try to do it there as well. I'm not so keen. I like the personal experience of tabletop gaming. I like to be with the people, but sometimes you just don't have that kind of area to work in, or you just don't know those kind of people. So, what is a tabletop RPG? Tabletop means it's something you do essentially in person. So, a tabletop game could be a board game. It could be a card game. It could be figure battles like well, what's it called? Oh, people spend hundreds and $100 on the figurines for it too. Battlefront? No, not Battlefront. I'm so Warhammer. Oh my goodness, I couldn't think of it. So, and then there's the RPGs, which is like Dungeons and Dragons, and a large assortment of other games. And it's my favorite because I'm a storyteller by nature, and the fact that it's all pretty much about story, or at least it should be. I'm not gonna knock people who do it just for the stats. That's just not how I roll. Ironic, punny, but it's the dice games where you roll the dice and you say what your character does, and it's all imaginary in a sense. It's pretty much. I mean, there's plenty of D&D sets and Pathfinder sets, which is essentially D&D, where you can, make the dungeon, have the figurines and all that kind of stuff. But the actual imagery all happens in your head. The scene that your dungeon master sets up for you. Coincidentally, my favorite and the one I highly recommend to anyone and everyone out there would be Anima. Anima is just such a great game. I don't have the book with me. Darn it. Well, I have one of the books. Sorry. This is actually. See if I can do this. Kind of hard to see because of the lighting. But this is actually the monster book for it. But yeah, Anima, it's such a great game because it gives you the most diversity while still being a good RPG game and having a core set of rules. It's not too general where you're confused of what's happening, but it's not too specific where each and every action has the same outcome. Granted, with Anima, one of the big things you have to worry about is math. Math is a big part of the game. I've changed some of the stats myself to kind of take some of the math out, but that's up to you and how you want to do your own home rules. But I highly recommend Anima. Though Anima is not necessarily a good game for beginners. Beginner wise, the best game to go for, in my opinion anyway, is either Pathfinder. Pathfinder is probably the best iteration of D&D out there. D&D 4.0 is super board game like almost to the point where you needed a board game. Pathfinder was a lot less. And it's just a really good for getting the idea of what tabletop RPGs are. There's also the World of Darkness series, which I have a large number of books over here. And it allows you to do a more, what's it called? It's like fantasy, but it exists in the current day and age. We just don't see it. There's a word for it, but I just don't know. Anyway, that's also a really good one for story based. Like World of Darkness books are very story based, so I highly recommend it if you're really into storytelling. D&D is more of the stats aspect. World of Darkness is more of the story aspect. White Wolf Games also produced Scion, which is a game where you play the child of a god or a demigod. And it's where it was one of my favorites for the longest time until I found Anima. So I highly recommend Scion as well. If you want links, please leave a message in the comments below, and I can definitely post some links. I don't know how many people are going to watch this, and I don't know how many people would be interested in this kind of thing. It's kind of a niche gaming thing, but it's something I enjoy, so I wanted to share it with everyone. So, how to get involved with people or how to get involved in tabletop RPGs. Like I've mentioned before, this is actually one of the hardest parts about tabletop games, and having a good consistent group that comes at least once a week or once every other week is actually a hard feat to commit. There's always online and there's board based ones. I don't have the patience for those. I need to talk to people. So the best thing you can do is talk to people about it, talk to people in your area. I mean, I know a lot of people who, especially people who like these kind of things, aren't necessarily the go-getter kind of types. You could always go to like Hastings, or you can go to any kind of gaming store. You can talk to the people there. They're more along the same thought process as gamers, so it's a lot easier that way. But you have to meet people if you want to play with people. It's just that short and simple. You could also look up some games and see what other people are doing. You could also look up some forums and do some games over Skype. I've done that before, and it is plenty fun. Not necessarily as fun as being in person, but you know, what can you do, especially if you live in a smaller area. So I recommend finding a game you really like, finding people who want to play the game, and the hard part then at that point is finding a dungeon master, a game master, so to speak. Now it's not it's super hard, and it's not the easiest part because no one wants to sit actively or passively by and tell a story while everyone else gets to play. Finding a good GM is hard. The best thing I can come up with is purchasing the little story books, the little pre-made campaigns, and then have someone run it one week, and then have someone else run it another week. It's super simple, and the books tell you the majority of what you need to know. If you're kind of unfamiliar with the rules, hopefully it'll give you an idea of how to work it. If the whole group is inexperienced, you might have some trouble. That's why I kind of recommend games like D&D and stuff that are kind of super simplistic. World of Darkness is actually probably better for newer people because it's mostly story and there's not a lot of stats to get yourself concerned about. It requires some dice. Dice are also super easy and cheap to get. I'm sure you have a Hastings or something nearby that sells dice. So yeah. If you want any hints or tips, I'm actually going to be posting some more DM, GM, storyteller tips in later episodes of my tabletop series. I also have some other games I'm currently designing that I want to share with everyone else. So stay tuned, and ciao for now, gamers. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I'll see you in the next, I don't even know what to call this series. We'll call it, I don't know, tabletop something just sounds like a lot of words to say. I'll figure it out later. Anyway, ciao.